Okay, here's Harry's McDonald's short with puts that he turned into a PDS at the end of the day. And here's what I think is going on with this one. So this was all put into place because of his thesis on the open, where after that pre-market drop from the economic report and then the bounce up to the upsloping trend line of the previous day, had that topping tails there and then the clean cross into the 1OP bull cross. His thesis was that this thing was going to fully retrace. So he was short. His thesis was short on the market. So really what he was looking to do is trying to find weak stocks to short at that moment around this time right through here. So as soon as this green candle started getting like retraced or not able to continue through, he was short. And he had two options, Tesla and McDonald's. And he chose McDonald's because of this. Particularly because of the consistent relative weakness that McDonald's had. And it didn't have crazy relative volume. It actually had a little bit less volume than its sector, so nobody was buying really on McDonald's. But it was just a really nice downtrending stock right through here. Now there might have been something that I call a ghost algo. I don't know if these are real or not, but I noticed that they do get kind of respected. It's an algo line that actually got broken, but it's still kind of around. And you'll notice in intraday charts that it forms kind of like a weak line of support or resistance, similar to a 5-minute trend line or something. It's a weaker line of support or resistance, but it broke under there. And that's the line right through here. So he's watching this thing drop as SPY is going up. So if I trace this line through here, SPY is going up as McDonald's is going down. It has a little pullback, and you should see some volume on this pullback if it's going to retrace all the way back up. And you do see some kind of volume, but not a lot. That's kind of like a really wimpy attempt to do a pullback, to do a short cover. So as soon as it gets to this candle, this is actually where he buys the put. He buys the put on that candle, which is that candle on SPY. So this candle isn't really getting above these two chunky candles, but also this candle is demonstrating a ton of relative weakness. You can see the scanner here showing a ton of relative weakness. So the price action and the scanner is all showing. So his thesis is that SPY is going to drop, McDonald's is going to fall down with it, he's going to take profits, he's going to be out of this thing before noon. But it doesn't happen. It actually double bounces and builds up immediate relative strength. Look at that, it flipped from weakness to strength right through there. And that's when SPY hasn't even gone back up yet. But the reason why he held was this. It's hard to tell if this downsloping trend line here is an actual weakness in McDonald's, or because the volume isn't exceptional, it's just a pullback on the uptrend. And he can't prove either thesis unless this uptrend is legitimately broken. So he's just going to give this thing some room. And so as the day goes by, remember, McDonald's starts up here. It's still in the red, while SPY started down here and SPY's in the green. So technically McDonald's is still weak. So his thesis of this thing continuing to drop is still intact, even though this thing is going against him completely. He likes what's happening in here, and he mentions in the comments that McDonald's is finally confirming. It's back into relative weakness a little bit. It's happening. Good things are going. But then as soon as it hits this point right here, look at what happens to SPY. On this pullback right back up, this bounce off of VWAP, SPY is flat. That means McDonald's is building relative strength, which means he's not going to be able to cash in on this put today. Which also means that this thing is going to actually rip back up, and he'll have to hold this thing all the way to a break across this line for his thesis to remain true. So does he just wait and then take a big loss on his put, or does he take advantage of options and turn it into a PDS by selling a put against it, so that he can, if on Monday this thing bounces off this line and continues down further, he can just buy back the short side? Or if this thing is actually a pullback and we get some volume, we get a break of this trend line, we get a nice green relative strength D1 candle showing intraday strength, he can actually sell the long side for a loss and take a little bit more profits on the short side, or just cap his losses. So he has some options here. That is my thesis with his McDonald's trade.